Hello, everyone. Welcome to the room 104. Together, we are sitting with Adam Gaskin. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Hotel manager of Palazzo Castagna.
Correct.
Okay, I managed to get it. Today, we have Adam that I know him the last 4 years.
4 years now. Almost 5, I think.
Almost 5 from the beginning of my career in Slima.
In Slima.
And Adam passed, I know your background is coming from F&B, from kitchen, from operations, for everything. So I think,
We'll start from there.
yes, please tell me some,
Sure.
how is the career in hospitality?
Sure. Actually, it started from when I was very young, so a young kid. Started off with my father, he's a executive chef. At the time when we were kids, he was the exec chef of the Phoenicia in Floriana for quite a while.
Phoenicia is one of the oldest
Yes,
hotels in
yeah,
Malta.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. He was there for around 13, 14 years, I think, roughly. But basically, when we were kids, since we didn't used to see him much because of the job, he used to bring me and my family, my mother, my brother, over to the hotel. And during dinner service and lunch service, I used to sit in his office in the kitchen. And I remember the kitchen office was open, so everything was glass inside the office, in his office, so you could see everything that was going on. So he used to sit me on the desk, and I used to observe everything.
He was trying to
lure me into the industry, I think.
Slow,
Yeah.
the poison of hospitality.
No, to be honest, from then it was exciting because you see the organized chaos. It was a lot of swearing, a lot of fire, heat, people pushing each other. But
I was having a conversation with another guest here, and we say that I believe from the whole hospitality, chefs are the most unique kind of people.
different breed of people. It's true. But yeah, that sparked something in me, to be honest. Since then, up until, I continued normal schooling in Malta, that you have to do your O levels, A levels, etc. When I was 16, I started working as a waiter in Hilton originally. So I spent two years there while I was doing my A levels. The funny thing was, after I graduated, I got my A levels, and then I decided to go to university, but I decided to go on marketing and management.
Why?
It was
Why?
my passion at all, but I was sort of being, well, not talked out of, but obviously
You tried to escape.
I knew that if I had to go in the industry, it was going to be a tough thing. I could see with my father, the hours he was working, so I decided to try the sensible route, I guess. But I did half a semester in university and I dropped out. And I remember both my mother and father were
They were
not the
expecting it.
happiest, but they were in the happiest at that time because I dropped out of university after a semester. But then I told my mom and my dad, I said, listen, I'm already working as a waiter in Hilton. I love it. I want to go into hospitality. First, I wanted to become a chef, which was the following but they both talked me out of it, which thankfully, so I decided to go into the management side. So that's when I applied in ITS. I did my HND in hotel management. I did my 2 years there, and I did half a year in Gleneagles Hotel in Scotland.
Scotland, huh?
Beautiful.
I love the easily I could stay there.
Yeah, no, it's the culture, everything, the people. So yeah, when I came back from there, I had my first opportunity to work as a restaurant manager. A very small restaurant in my hometown in Shamshia, where it was a tiny 20 cafe restaurant. While I was still studying, because after I graduated ITS, then I decided to go back to university and I did my bachelor's in tourism studies. I wanted to continue to get my degree, which I graduated at the end finally. But since I had done my Gleneagles experience, I got the opportunity to work as a restaurant manager. I was only 21, so it was quite
very early.
Big step. Yes, I wasn't ready. I made a lot of mistakes, obviously. Expected. And again, restaurant manager, I had 1 or 2 waiters with me. It wasn't exactly but still, I was responsible for.
Actually, it's a very good that very early you had you have the possibility to go in this role.
Yeah. No, I was learning a lot about the purchasing side, about all the things which when you're a waiter All you see is the food coming up from the pass, serve it to the guest, and then that's it. So you start going in the back side of things to make the orders, to prepare, you start doing the costings of the beverage and etc. So it was a good learning curve.
Actually, there are what you say. The people say they see the only the front, and sometimes we are like when we go to restaurants or even the hotels and etc. We're like, but why they didn't have toothpaste or why they didn't put two extra olive oils,
Yeah.
but two extra olives. But actually, you know that
Yeah.
even these extra olives have like a
Make a
huge
difference.
yes.
For sure. Especially when you're trying to keep proper control of everything. You need to try and be as much to down to earth as much as possible. So yeah, it taught me a lot. And then I had a recruiter approach me on LinkedIn. Out of
LinkedIn,
nowhere.
it works.
On LinkedIn, I got, to be honest with you, 2 or 3 of my jobs in my career I got through LinkedIn, so I can't knock it. She contacted me and she said if I'm interested as a restaurant manager in the Corinthia Palace, which at that time was one of the best hotels on the island.
Still is one.
Still, yes, of course, but at the time it was peaking, and they had a really good GM at that time over there, Mr. David Woodward, who I'm still in contact till today. He's my mentor, basically. And yeah, I decided to go. I knew the chef. I knew the head chef. He used to work. He used to compete with my father back in the 90s with the Maltese national team.
So you went to work with
Yeah.
with the opposition?
No. I respect. I have a lot of respect for this chef as well. Chef Hogan. He taught me a lot as well. So for me it was a no-brainer, to move. It was like the natural next step. And I was in charge of the food restaurant there to start with, which was a big step for me because I was 22, 23, and we
Still very young.
still young, and I had around, with all the part-timers and everyone, I had around 30, 40 employees in summer on my roster, and we used to do hundreds of covers a day. It was insane. And that's when and then again, the first year was a bit shaky, and then I did the second year, and you get used to it. You keep getting used. You learn from your mistakes with the guidance as well of my managers.
You understand what the difference that the experience is doing.
100%. And then if you have the proper guidance, which I had, thankfully, over there, because it was like a school for me. They every day they tell you, they suggest something, or you fell short here, or why is this happening, why is that there, and if you're it's up to you obviously to absorb what they're saying, but if you work on what they're saying every single day and you take it on board and you actually try and do what they're telling you, they're doing it for a reason. So that's the approach I took, and the second year we smashed all the records. It was a great summer. And then after that, after doing 2 years in Corinthia, I had an opportunity in the Marriott, the 5-star in St. Julian's, to take care of the villa, which is the old, very prestigious, which is another backstory for me, and because I was going to be in charge of 2 restaurants. So the first time I had but also that villa was opened originally by my father in 2008, because it used to belong to the Meridian. So it was like a full circle for me.
Had to go back to the family.
I had to. It was part of the for part of my journey. And then when I was there, COVID hit, unfortunately.
This COVID destroyed so many dreams.
Crazy. And I was working the second year while I was there. I was working as a security guard, as everyone was.
This is what everybody passed. Like, doesn't matter if you had degrees, experience, and whatever. Eventually, you had to do security.
And security, and the chef. I remember all the service were doing. So the F&B were doing security, and the chefs were all doing maintenance. So the chefs were painting and fix, and we were doing. I was doing the night shift sometimes, so I had to go walk around the whole hotel.
Same.
And it was such a weird experience, because the thing is, the hotel had just gone through a brand new refurbishment, and they had to close it immediately. So I'm walking through this hotel, everything's brand new, everything's beautiful, and there's nobody there. It was such a weird, almost like apocalyptic experience. But and then that's when I was doing security for a while. I was getting a bit fed up, to be honest, because of.
And nobody knew what is gonna be there tomorrow.
What's gonna happen as well. So, but then Gilbert Cambry contacted me for 1926, where you're working now, and I knew they were operating almost practically normal at the time, so I decided to make the step. Also, it was a step up for me. It was assistant GM, so It was my first experience outside of the
Just to
F&B.
say that at that time is when Adam was my assistant GM. I was
We're,
his a small minion. I
we're
was doing
partners.
what
We're partners. Partners in crime. No, so yeah, it was that was I think that was an experience where, again, I don't believe I felt like I was 100% ready for that role, to be honest with you. But I did learn a lot in that short period of time I was here. And again, COVID, it was still in the time of COVID, so everything was, they were shutting and opening, you remember? It was a bit all over the place.
But at that time was the first for you that you went out of the restaurant and
Yeah,
kitchen.
yes,
So you start seeing also rooms and
yes. I was going into the rooms, into, I mean, meetings with the owners, and this is all a new experience for me. So
the scary ones, huh?
yeah, the scary ones. Um, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the experience, of course. However, I think after a while, I was missing FMB again, to be honest with you. It was my,
You know whose fault is this?
yeah,
Is your father
my father.
petting you as a taking you as a baby there in
Yeah.
the kitchen?
So yeah, so and then I decided I got an opportunity again as in charge of the Caviar and Bull. Um,
Fine dining also.
Fine dining, yes, fine dining. It's got a Michelin plate now. And near Corinthians St. George, the 5-star. So again, with COVID and everything, it was a bit of a funny time. So I just decided, and then it was more of a decision which I don't know, I took it a bit, off the cuff sort of, but no, it was tough. It was again a good learning experience. Even I mean the produce that we were selling, the wines, it was a very high level. So
If I remember well, you were doing also some wine tasting
yes,
certificate.
yes. So that I got my WSCT in intermediate level, and then I started doing my advanced, but I didn't continue it unfortunately because of work. I mean, I was working too many hours. I couldn't keep up with the studying because you have to dedicate a lot of time to that. And then after after that experience, I decided to have a bit of a break.
We all need sometimes.
That was again in COVID times again, because I mean, if you think about it, it stretched
Yes.
for quite a few years.
Still, we were not back to the normal.
No. So yeah, and even that was tough. I mean, and in that restaurant with the amount of people we're doing, and we still had a lack of staff because of the COVID situation. So that was a big issue about the understaffing. That was very stressful.
If you remember what happened to Malta, a small island, and a lot of people went back to their countries, then we had to, new people wanted to come in, but then of course paperwork and it was, yes, the after like the COVID is not only that the hotel was closed and guests are coming, was guests were coming back and they were like super demanding because they didn't have holidays for 3 years.
Exactly.
We didn't have staff. I remember some properties, they were capping their occupancy.
Yeah.
They say 50%. We don't want more people. Yes, we don't.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's enough because we can't handle more. Which is, again, it's a shame in a way. If you're running, I mean, if you're the owner, you're running a business, you need to try and maximize but you have to hit a limit. And but yeah, then I decided to take a step back from the industry as a whole. Saying that, to be honest, I went into a completely different industry, which was the iGaming for a while. Just to try something a bit different.
This is our nemesis. Just everybody
Just
know.
for a
In
while.
Malta, you need to choose if you are iGaming hospitality.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, it was again, you learn things. I learned a lot about the IT side of things, which I didn't have much experience on, so that helped me even till today. But yeah, and then I was still doing some consultancy on the side with my father. So my father has his own company based in the UK as well on the side. And during COVID times, we're doing some consultancy for some 5-star hotels on the island.
So you couldn't escape it.
I was still keeping it.
Still,
I couldn't. You can't run
a small list of hospitality.
once you're in, you're in. And then after all that, it came to the position I'm in now. So I got a contact from this Mr. David Woodward, who was my GM in Corinthia Palace, who I looked up to. I still look up to very much, and we're still in close contact. We speak a lot, speak every week. And he asked me if I want to go as a hotel manager in this boutique hotel, 26 rooms. And for me, again, it was another step. I mean, I was 30 years old. I'm 30, I'm 32 next month, but 30 years old and hotel manager, 26 rooms. I tried it in 1926. I didn't think I did. I mean, not I didn't. I felt like I wasn't ready, so I was a bit wary of the situation. But I said, you know what? It's a good step back into the industry, especially the position. So I would have jumped
Yeah.
from F&B back into the operations and also at the highest position in that particular hotel. So I said, you know, why not? I'm gonna.
So now you are dealing with the operation and the F&B of
I'm dealing with every single department in the hotel. So now F&B, the kitchen, front office, housekeeping, and then I have as well social media, marketing is also in house. We do it
wow.
ourselves, and
Okay.
I'm a big part of it. Sometimes with the owners as well. We have a discussion of where we want to direct the image of the hotel, etc. But
So as Adam, you are multitasking.
now, yes, now it's
Yes.
from from the second you walk in the hotel to
How is this? Because we all do in hospitality, and the ones that they want to progress in their career, you have to multitask.
yeah, for
Okay,
sure,
this is gonna make you different from the other
for
people.
sure.
How you balance your life?
It's a good question.
Because if you are involved so
Yeah,
many things,
yeah. The thing is, I think you need
give
to.
an advice also for me because I'm struggling with it.
No, I mean it's not easy. It's not easy, of course. But I think the first thing is you need to take it in a positive way. So what I mean is, yes, it's scary in a sense that before you even take on all those responsibilities, but you need to be with the mindset that it's a challenge, you know. So that's the first step. And then to balance your personal life with your work life. I mean, to be honest with you, the older I'm getting, the more experience I'm getting, the more comfortable I'm getting with the roles that I'm doing, you do tend to balance your life a bit more because you learn how to delegate more, you learn how to spread your work out more, you learn how to timetable your work, everything now every day. I mean, when I was in restaurants, I was a completely different person. I used to come in, I know I had the service, I know how many guests I had, boom, 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 everything's rush, 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 and then here where I am now, if the plan, I have every single day, I have on my phone my timetable, and if I don't have that on my phone now, I have everything
So
step by
you are
step by
using
step.
technology, right?
I'm using technology every single day.
I'm very
I think
happy.
nowadays you can't not. I mean, if you don't want to implement it in your work, I think you're falling very behind. In the beginning, I was trying to keep a small book on me and also on my phone, and then I started realizing this is crazy. I can't keep up. I don't know why I had the book, but it's for me.
So this is a lesson for my colleagues that they are refusing to use technology. They are refusing to adjust that things are evolving. Like you need to.
No, you need to. Don't use the book.
Eh,
No, no, you need to. You need to.
start with the book.
Start with the book.
Start with the book.
Start writing things down first. Let's
Yeah.
start from there. Because some people they believe that they can absorb everything in their head, and that's impossible. First of all.
Recently, I was having this conversation that people, it's very frustrating. They are coming either when they start their career, they start their new job, and they are coming with nothing. They're like, you are talking to them, and you get the one, yes, 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 and you're like, can you put it down? And
Yeah.
if someone comes like after the first day, and they don't come with the
Yeah.
paper, for me is another red flag.
Yeah, for sure.
Another red flag
For
for
sure. Whereas when you're in a meeting and you're having an important discussion and they're just like staring at you.
Yes.
And you're right, and you're saying things which need to be actioned. So how are you going to leave that meeting when you don't, you know? I'm saying this is a meeting, not you taking the minutes. Some imagines, it's impossible. You can't absorb every single thing. You're going to forget something.
Because as we said, like how you multitask, for sure, everyone has to do it. So it's not one job that you have to do and that's it.
No, it's not. And I use a lot of different programs. So on my phone, I mean, to be honest with you, mainly, which sounds a bit, I use my Google Calendar is like my best friend now.
Yes.
That's literally my best friend. And then I have this application called Trello. So it's for all the meetings that we have. We jot everything down. So even with the owners, I have my own. Because basically Trello splits it up into different like window panes. I don't know if
Things to do.
you've used it before.
Things to do.
But then I write, for example, Adam and Alison, who's one of the owners, or Adam and Fufuzi, who's my head housekeeper, Adam and Calvin. And so I have every single department split up. their to-do list, when I expect them to do the things, what the targets are that need to be done, etc. So like that, you can keep track. They can access it from their phone as well, which is
Okay.
it's all live as well. So it's like, it's like using Google Drive or something. So everything's updated live at that time, and it's easy.
Do you have, now that the topic went to technology,
Yeah.
and you said like you started since you were 16, so quite a few years in the hospitality, and you see a lot of tools coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think is a good way that is happening,
Of
or
course. Of course. I think that's, to be honest with you, even AI I use in my
I,
day
I
to day.
I wanted to go there, like
100%. I mean, I think you need to be a fool not to use it. Why not? You have the tools there, you have the opportunity to use something like that. We live in 2025 and we have this crazy, magical almost, tool which not many people want to use. I don't know why, but it's handy. I'm not saying. Then you need to be a bit careful because you also need to be careful about make sure it doesn't affect your critical thinking as well. So what I mean is it's sometimes it's an easy way to go on the AI, chuck in the question, and then boop, here's my answer, and I'm just gonna blurt out what it says. So I still think it needs to come from the individual as well to stop, think, you know, use your brain as well a bit.
But this, I think, also from my side, and because I had a lot of colleagues telling me, if people start using AI and ChatGPT to write complaint reviews or uh, anything, that they don't need to think anymore and they stop. But for me, it's more about, you need to teach the people how to use AI.
The prompts,
Yes.
how to put the prompts in, of course.
And please, I say to everyone, go to work of the correct way to prompt. Definitely is gonna be the future,
Yes,
a future.
most industries,
Yes.
for sure. 100%. Hospitality is not different.
It follows. It follows.
100%. 100%.
We said about also that a lot of people came to Malta, new colleagues from different all around the world, actually.
Culture, of course.
How is this for you that you had to you met? How was Malta?
When I was younger compared to now as
Yes,
well.
20 years ago, and
I mean,
now Malta, that a lot of people, some educated
mhm,
in hospitality, some people, because I met people that came for reception, managers, maintenance,
correct. Yeah.
housekeeping, that they have done something different back, let's say, in Colombia,
Yep.
in Nepal, India, and they came here and then they went to the hospitality and they start building their career. How was from your side that you changed the properties and
No, I mean, since when I was 16, when I started, it was completely different. The workforce in general. I mean, it was majority were Maltese, even in Corinthia. So I'm talking around 8 years ago now, in that hotel particularly, let's put it that way. It was a majority of Maltese in the F&B department and the other departments, to be honest. But I mean, look, this is something which is global in the sense that the workforce is changing, cultures are changing, people are coming. I'm very much in favor of it, to be completely honest
so
with you.
so you see some benefits on that?
100%, because I mean, at the end of the day, why are there no Maltese working as well? So there could be there's a lot of reasons for that. However, this is the reality right now. So there's not many Maltese. They don't work in the industry much. You need a workforce. The hotels are getting busier.
Maybe the iGaming and
Probably
finance
most of them.
won
Yeah,
the Maltese
true.
market.
When they came in, because of the wages as well, which is another. I mean, it's not something. However, no, I mean, you need with how tourism is going in Malta, the rate that it's growing, and how many properties are opening. You need a workforce. You need a big workforce. And listen, it's up to the employer as well to train your staff. You can't expect. I mean, I've worked with Maltese people who had absolutely no idea what they were doing either. But you know what? You trained them. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started,
And you were a manager.
and I was manager. Cheeky. Fair enough. But it's true. So it's up to the employer to train. It's up to the individual as well to be hungry enough to learn, to want to learn, to want to improve. There are a lot of foreigners from every different parts of the world who want to take this as a career. So why not push them? Why not,
invest,
give them the tools
yes, yes.
to get there. So I think it's up to the employer a lot as well. So
And some of them already they grow in the industry.
exactly. I mean, you're one of them as well.
I remember my when I was working in one property in Seabank,
Mhm.
that I was me and another person that we are not Maltese in the morning briefing. So, and it was so awkward, and I do understand that poor general manager every time had to stop and, guys, can we speak in English
In
now?
English, yeah, yeah,
But and I do respect that this person was thinking about this,
of course.
and this is, and you said before that you have a mentor.
Yeah.
We take these parts from them and we put them in
Exactly.
our work and our
Put
career.
them in other people's as well. Yeah, I think you need to respect every single culture, if they're willing to work, and for me, it doesn't make a difference where you're from. You're willing to work, you want to work hard, you want to learn, then perfect. You're perfect to join my team. That's it. And you have to have the right attitude. I think attitude is, for me, more important than sometimes experience. Honestly,
Yes, yeah.
that's my opinion.
I was talking with the HR in with us. I was like, I don't think so. I will ever want to fire anyone when it's coming to work.
Mhm.
Attitude, yes,
Yes,
but work, I think I can work with everyone, go all the way till the end, and try to change. But when it's coming to the behavior, it's very difficult. You
Yeah.
need to be very strict. You need to, as you said, to respect each other.
Exactly.
So yes, that's the tricky part.
Yeah, it is.
But I saw from the cultures that they came, like people from different cultures and different background, how it is coming also. Like we have a lot of people from India, Nepal,
Yes.
and when I was coming in the hotel in the morning, it was like, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam." That I was not used in Greece at all about this. So now I start putting this to greet everyone, to say share. So, and it makes the environment
Yeah.
much
The
much better.
atmosphere,
Yeah,
of course, and you treat your staff how you want them to treat your guests as well, because it's
yeah.
a reflection of that.
And it goes to the guest after. Like the next step is to go to the guest.
Exactly, and it all depends on the mood of the individual. How, as in, if you create a toxic environment at work, how can you expect them to
No,
treat the guest
you're gonna
in a positive way?
you're gonna lose, first of all, your staff, and
100%.
you're not gonna have good reviews.
Not at all. That's another thing. That's true.
Now that we said about the staff,
Yeah,
and the guest,
Mhm.
Adam, have you been asked strange questions from the guest, or to
I have been asked
fulfilled
Some-
requests?
some questions I can't say on this podcast, I think. But in hotel houses, you hear and see a lot of things.
So you had an inappropriate request?
Of course, yeah,
Yes,
a lot of times. Yeah.
a lot of times.
I mean,
Okay.
depends what. Yeah, a few different things. So yeah, maybe it's not what you're thinking about it. A lot of, yeah, of course. I mean, listen, people are on holiday. People are some to have fun as well, not just Yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be a bit careful.
What's your advice to your staff when
Stay professional.
stay professional?
Stay professional. Smile.
It can be very
And
difficult.
stay away. Yeah, that's my advice.
I had some. I'm laughing because I remember like staff when we go through the training, and they are coming, especially when they start in the industry, and they greet the guest, "Yo, bro, thank you, bro," and etc. And then you need to go back, and you have a big background in
Yeah.
hospitality, so when you listen to these things,
It's things
you're
that-
like, "What happened now?"
yeah, it hurts you a bit when you hear something like that. I get this down to training as well, though, at the end of the day.
Do you see the new generation? How you see the new generation?
I mean, in Malta, obviously, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of good young people coming through. A lot. I'm still in tap with the F&B side of things, so I see a lot of really good young chefs, really good young restaurant managers who are in Michelin restaurants. They're doing a fantastic job.
So do you see creativity and
Yes,
fresh
creativity,
ideas?
fresh ideas. A lot of young people, especially in the F&B. I'll step on that. Who go for experience abroad. I did the same. I went to do some studies in 3-star Michelin, 2-star Michelin as well. In Copenhagen and in Oxford, in Raymond Blanc. But a lot of young people are doing that as well now. And when you have those type of experiences, when you go to these properties, when you're working in this level of hospitality or level of restaurants, it's
You raise your standards.
100%, because even just the environment and just the little details that you pick up, I mean, it's also up to you to pick them up, but some things, that the little details that you pick up make such a massive difference. That's when you start seeing that they're not doing something which is rocket science. It's still hospitality. They're still treating the guests and speaking to the guests normally. And for example, one of the experiences I had in the 3-star Michelin in Copenhagen was a bit surprising for me, because I thought I was gonna go there, everything was gonna be like, this old French style service. It was so,
With the gloves.
yeah, with the gloves and everything. It was so casual in the sense of, okay, they were all dressed with a suit and pristine. They all looked perfect, but how they spoke with the guest, how you're joking with the guest, and such a relaxed way, a relaxed environment. For me, that was a bit like, okay, that stood out a bit. But then you start seeing the little details. So you go in the back of house. It was like you're in a hospital. Everything was perfect, perfect, perfect. Every second. I mean, the workforce there as well, there was around 20, 30 chefs on duty sometimes. It was crazy.
No, it's a big investment in order to
It's
go to this
massive, but
level.
still, you pick up on so many things that you can even implement here. Why not? I'm not saying, but certain things you can, and even how you hold yourself and how you present yourself. So yeah, and I think a lot of young people are doing that. They're having these experiences abroad. They're bringing them back to Malta, and I think the industry in Malta is getting better and better,
Yes.
especially in terms of, I mean, case number one is the Michelin star you have here in this
Yes,
hotel.
let's
So
praise a bit of us. That this new and fresh ideas made a start to come super fast.
exactly. And so yeah, it's good. I think it's going in the right direction. I think ITS as well, the tourism school in Malta. They are trying to invest more. They're moving campus soon again to a bigger campus to get even more students, some from abroad as well, quite a few from abroad actually. So I think it's going well.
I see that you said like they invest to the hospitality industry, but are you afraid that we're gonna be like over tourism and we end up, because I see France, I see Spain, I see
So these protests are
protests against tourism.
to be honest with you, I think we're almost there.
Yes.
The reason is it's a bit of a balance in the sense of quality to quantity tourism. I remember when I was at school, there was this whole thing of quantity, quality, quality. We need to aim for quality, always quality. Malta's not doing that. Unfortunately, it's quantity, it's volume, it's get the people in, bring the money in, and it's taking a toll on the infrastructure and the locals. I mean, it's a big strain now. I mean, with all this construction that's going on, it's insane. You go to St. Julian's, it's like you're in a concrete jungle. It's crazy.
But the responsibility now it goes to the investors. But I dare to say, then my advice is to come to you, to the new generation of managers, that they're gonna push the companies, the owners, the directors to the correct path, because industry need people with your education, with fresh ideas from abroad, from a lot of work, a lot of research. Not we do whatever we do for money, but as you said, for the quality.
Yeah.
So
quality for the passion.
please, in the future, influence the proper way.
I'll try my best.
So, as a last thing, do you want to give an advice to people that they are coming to us,
to the industry?
Yes.
I'll keep it simple to us. Work hard, listen, learn.
Keep a notepad.
Keep a notepad at all times. Sometimes it's better not to speak but to listen. So sometimes shut up and just listen. Trust me. Silence speaks a lot more. sometimes than when you speak too much, because I've learned that as well. No, but have the right attitude, going to work with the attitude that you're going to give 110% every day. Sometimes it's not going to be easy, but you have to stay focused. If you want to make a career out of it, it's a very rewarding career. It's a tough career. However, it can be very rewarding, especially if you keep going, climbing the ladder and learning. And the possibilities of traveling the world if you want. You can see the world with this job. So that's another big plus of the industry. And you meet so many different people and network and make friends for life from all over the world. So
It's for me, this is very rewarding to.
and that's something you can't buy, you know.
No, and you are rich like inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So, all the best for the future.
Thank you.
At this point, I would like to say thank you, everybody. Please follow and like on our social media, on listen all our episodes on Spotify, on YouTube, on our website. We have our own website, hotelierwiththeaccent.com.
Nice.
And see you again next week. I did a small trick, so the new episodes from now on, they're gonna start from 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Because I had complaints that people are going to work and they want to listen to the podcast in the car.
In the car.
So from next week, we're gonna be available from 7 in the morning.
Perfect.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.